Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Charlotte Cannon on today's show.
Well, welcome everyone to our radio show tonight, where we have the privilege of interviewing Askley Knight, and she is the author of 21 Days. I'm going to get it right. 21 Days of Positive Speaking, 21 Days of Self-Adoration, and then Askley Free. Never allow your past to define you. And so these are her books, and I'm just excited about it because they're so positive in a time where we need a lot of positivity because we've had a lot of things going on. So Askley, tell us a little bit. Thank you first for agreeing to do our show, and then just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I am super excited to be here. Every day comes with many challenges. And so number one, it's those daily challenges that push me to continue to be Miss Positivity. And so I'm known as Miss Positivity of Killeen. Everyday challenges really made me to push myself to not adhere to the negative, but to push towards the positive. And it's not easy. And so I am a 10-year U.S. Army veteran. I am the oldest of three. I am born and raised in Houston, Texas, and that comes with a lot of responsibility. And it was with all of that that I've learned to choose the positive lane. And so that's pretty much what I do each and every day. That's my lifestyle. Roll with the punches, roll with everything that we are doing. Just like tonight, I'm with my children at a ceremony in my mobile unit of my bookstore. And so we have to do what we have to do when we can do it.
I think that's amazing. And I was looking through your bookstore and everything. And so tell me a little bit about the bookstore and how that came about.
Oh my goodness. So first of all, independent authors, applaud yourself right now. Give yourself a pat on the back because independent authors, we really have to push our product. And I have been pushing my product for the past 5 years now. And individually, that was hard. I had to be very persistent. I have to knock on all doors and not all doors welcome me. And then I got huge deductions on many platforms. So 60% deduction, 45% deduction, that's harsh when you have a $10 book or $18 book and you're only getting $8 for profit for that $18 book. And so as I was doing this for 5 years, pushing my books individually on many platforms, opening a bookstore just made sense for me. I could build the solution to assist in gaining a bigger profit for my book sales. And Word United Bookstore pretty much came to life after many trials of me individually selling my books and then meeting other authors that were like, how do you do this? How do you stay on the move? Consistency is key to you doing anything as an author. You have to be continuously in the faces of the community that you're trying to serve.
That is just so true because if you don't, you have to really learn how to market yourself and market your book. Otherwise, it's just going to be sitting somewhere on the shelf. That's all it's going to be doing is sitting somewhere. And then, you can sell to your friends, but you wanted to reach way more people than that because you took the time and it was inspired and it was given to you to write. And so you want it to reach as many people as you can. So tell us a little bit about speaking 21 Days of Speaking Positivity. Now, what inspired you to write this book?
Your confessions are your possessions. It was the actions that I took and the speaking that I trained my brain to endure. I had to speak to myself higher than what I was seeing, higher than what was happening. I had to go beyond the reality of my situation. So speaking really changed my dynamic of where I could go and how far I could go.
Yeah, because I think it's so important, especially you know, what we've been enduring for over the last year, and then with the you know, the country, the states opening back up, people are having to come back out. And so you got to think about those with all the social anxiety and all of those things. And so in order to kind of move past those types of things, if you would just begin to do those 21 days of affirmations, those 21 days of speaking positive, then you'll have a different outlook on life. And I think that is just so special. So what message do you want your readers to take from the book?
You're unstoppable. You are unstoppable if you just believe. And so every day they have to do something positive, like contradicting what is actually happening. You know, one day they have to write an encouraging message to someone that they follow, or continuously get poured into by, even if that's your pastor or your mom. They say something encouraging to you weekly, but you never give that gratitude. That attitude of gratitude really pours back into you, and opens doors that you didn't even see were open to you. And so I really make people to get a attitude character about themselves. And so the book is all about getting yourself into an unstoppable position, because once you start speaking a certain way, I don't care what you hear, I don't care what you see, it's like, that's not what I said to myself this morning. You be like, you just change your whole dynamic of what you're going to accept and how you are going to settle. You're not going to settle for anything after you do 21 days of positive speaking.
I believe that, because what they, you know, they always say that it takes 21 days to break a habit or to start a new habit. And so
Exactly.
just with doing that, it will make the changes that is necessary for that as well. And so that's what, so I'm so sorry for the phone, but those are the things that, because I mean, just like with anything that you're trying to do, if you speak positive on it, then it helps to motivate you to even have more you know, more desire to get it done, to get it accomplished, and things like that. So I think this is so inspiring. I'm just excited about it. So I can't wait to get through it all and read and get my 21 days of positivity in, because we all need positivity. We all need that. And so and then how does that translate? Because like you said, you with the kids today, do you encourage them to do that? Because this is not just a book for adults. This can translate into all age groups. And is that your goal, is to reach all age groups with your book?
Definitely. The youth are my passion. That's why I'm here today. I am the youth chair of a Black chamber here in Killeen. And if we do not pour into our next generation, our future is those children. There are those children. And so, yes, I definitely pour into them. I became Miss Positivity because of the youth who were impacted by my positive messages. And number one, if you tell a child something, they will repeat that. And when a child is repeating positive speaking, you better fix your attitude, you better fix your mood, you better fix everything. Because when you hear a little 5-year-old saying like, I can do anything, I am brave, I am brilliant, I am strong, when I'm over there trying to be weak, you like, you know what, let me get it together. And so I love it even more with the youth, because they believe it faster. They have no issues with believing it, and they will repeat it right back at you and make you live it out.
That is so true. They are just like that, and they get, and it helps to, you know, it really plants something deep on the inside of them that makes them unstoppable as well as they continue to grow. Then they don't, you know, they don't adhere to some of the negative, you know, of bullying and things like that, because they know, no, this is not what I've learned, and this is not what I've said about myself.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Now, where did you get the idea from for this book?
Well, like what you were just saying, you reminded me of what I say. The whole sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. That is a deep statement that we grew up hearing. But words can hurt. And if you do not use your words wisely, then words can tear down. And so just the way that my mental capacity was tearing myself down made me be like, I'm either going to speak better than this or I'm going to die. You know, I'm going to destroy myself. And so it was just you got to get to a point in life where you flip a switch and you say enough is enough, and you start doing something opposite.
Exactly, because it is what you say about yourself. You have to make sure that what you say about yourself is good. Now we're going to take a short break, and then we'll hear from our wonderful sponsors, and then we'll be right back to talk about more positive things. I'm excited.
Marianne Fairmouth is a career consultant with 30 years experience in the national recruiting world, a multi-award winning author in multi-genres, and a speaker that gives presentations to help you succeed. Her book, Revolutionary Recruiting, made the top 20 global list of recruiting books. Find her on Amazon, your favorite bookstore, or at fairmouth.com.
Factor 7, the newest thriller by author J.D. May, will keep you turning the pages with mystery, betrayal, lies, and infidelity. Ripped from the headlines, Factor 7 follows two prominent doctors who uncover a clandestine plot to spread a bioweapon with a 98% mortality rate. Journey with them as they experience a world of murder, power, intrigue, and corruption, where it becomes deadly clear that exposing the truth is just as dangerous as the weapon they seek to expose.
Hello, I am the author Denise Bryson. My first book is The Things That Cross My Mind, Inspirational Poetry with Life Lessons. And then my audio book is Love's Reality. And it is also inspirational poetry with a jazzy flair. And then my new book is The Sex, the Lies, and the Soul Ties. They're really short stories written from a poetic expression. And then I have my first children book series, the Blinky series, which the first book is called Meet the Coins, and it is both in English and Spanish. And then the new book, From Coins to Bills. I am the author, Denise Bryson.
To embrace your children's imagination, check out Diane Floyd Bame's books for kids. There's The Moonling Adventures, all about the animals in the Serengeti. And then there's Harry the Camel, learning to love yourself just the way you are. Then The Little Girl in the Moon. There's one about friendship, another one about the big ideas, which is an inspirational story, and then Tour Tycho Town, right there in Tycho Crater on the moon. All of Diane Floyd Bame's books are available at B4R Store.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Denise Bryson on today's show.
Well, welcome back everyone to our show. We have been on break, but we have been interviewing the amazing, positive, I'm gonna say it like that, Askley Knight. She is the author of several books, 21 Days of Positive Speaking, 21 Days of Self-Adoration, and then the other one is Ashley Free. Never allow your past to define you. Oh my God, and how many people do that on a daily basis? They allow what they went through as a child, or what, I was in a room, I think on Clubhouse, and they were talking about some of the same things. And it is because it's about what you say. It's about what you say and think about yourself. So when you begin to say positive things, then that is what helps you raise who you are. And so tell us a little bit about your other book called 21 Days of Self-Adoration. Some people would think, well, I'm being adore myself. I'm being selfish. But what do you say about that, Ashley?
Why not? Why not for you? That's what I say in this book. Why not for you? It is time for you to take time out for you. And so Self-Adoration actually is my pandemic book. I wrote that during the height of COVID-19 making its presence into the world. And when you're out and about, it's so easy for you to get affirmation or exhorted by the things that you do or the people that you're around. Well, with COVID, we ended up being home stuck with whoever you live with or whoever, your family is, or by yourself. And that was kind of difficult when you had no selfish tendencies or practices. What do I do for me? Because in the house, continuously with your family, that was a pouring out continuously to them. And then when you're out in the public, you're pouring out continuously to whoever you're serving, whoever you're working for. Well, when I was stuck in the house, it showed me how less that I take care of myself. And so I said, I gotta adore myself. Like, I adore you, Ashley. And how does a person come about to adore themselves? And so I started thinking of a process of why I stopped adoring myself and why I wasn't taking care of myself. And so 21 days of self-adoration is pouring back into yourself, reminding yourself of how important you are, reminding yourself of how brilliant, how smart, how equipped you are. Definitely the pandemic showed me how unequipped I was, or my kids were. Like, I felt like I wasn't teaching them anything. I was like, yo, you don't know how to do what? And so it was things like that that I realized, like, you know what, we have to go back to the basics.
Yes. And I think this is a book too about really self-care, about taking care of yourself and and just making sure that you are mentally, aware of how great of a person you are and how you've been gifted in certain areas and you have strengths in certain areas. You might have some weaknesses, but you have strengths. And so to build upon those things and build upon yourself, because like if you go to a job interview, if you don't toot your own horn, and nobody's going to toot it for you. And when you go in to try to get a job, you better be speaking some self-adoration. So it's something that's necessary. Yeah, it's something that's necessary. I think it's amazing. And so what inspired you to write this book?
Because I had to give myself tasks for the day during, COVID. Like, every day at my job or in my business, that gave me the task for the day. But with self-adoration, like you said, okay, at this time, I'm going to read positive things. I'm going to listen to my favorite music. I'm going to take time to watch my favorite movie. I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to give myself, paint my own nails. I'm going to reorganize my closet. And so it was those different things that, as I was staying home more and more, I realized the different areas I was neglecting. And so those things are important and were important, but I let other things get in the way. And so 21 Days of Self-Adoration really was the self-care aspect of starting to make habits to take care of yourself better, all the way down to that cleaning the closet, like I was saying. When you're working day to day, you put one blouse on, that blouse didn't fit, the next blouse, you got to put that on. By the time you come home that evening, you threw 3 blouses on the floor. And when do you come pick them back up? Stuff like that becomes habits where you make a whole mess and you don't pick it up, except for like on Sunday when you clean or whatever. Well, during COVID, I learned to do that daily. Now I had time to do it daily, and I could do it daily when I go back to work.
Mm-hmm. And then I think too, one of the things I wrote down here, I said, this teaches people to be present in life instead of melting into the crowd and being lost. Because you said, why are we at the party on the wall?
Yes.
Yeah. And you have to learn how to be present.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of my takeaways when I thought about that. Yeah. Let's come on out and be present.
Exactly. And people realized that when they were stuck at home, we had to be present in our bubble, in our circle. So yes, definitely being present in the moment is important.
And so as the author, what journey did this book take you, writing this book take you on?
A journey of gratefulness, really capturing, like, I feel like self-adoration captured all of me. Like, who exactly are you, Ashley? How much have you evolved? New things that I learned that I don't do anymore, or that I like to do now, or that I wanted to do and I was able to do now that I was home more. So it really helps you to reflect on yourself as well, and who you are, where you want to be, who you want to be. And so as an author, it really helped me to see and narrow down if this career path was for me. If you survived as an author or as a bookseller during the pandemic, it's your passion, it's your purpose. And so stuff like that, it made me realize.
That's good, because I mean, it is. And so it is such an amazing feeling to be in your passion. I think that's one of the most amazing feelings, to be, working in your passion and doing what you love. I have an organization for children because I believe we have to give back to the next generation. So it's so wonderful to hear that that's your passion, is making sure the next generation is equipped for life, because we have to do it. It's just what we have to do. It's our assignment. I believe that.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, and so before we, I wanted to make sure that we, before I go into the third book, it says, Ashley Free, never allow your past to define you. And so what does that mean to you? And we'll talk about it for about a minute, and then we're going to take our next break. But go ahead.
So this book is all about all of those masks that we wear. And for a certain time frame of my life, I wore a lot of masks, not really being transparent of who the real me was, and then carrying all the past weight of the different traumas or the experiences that I faced, and letting that be my reason why I wasn't being as successful or accomplished as I wanted to be. And so it's the unmasking. Ashley Free was the name. She was the strong one. Ashley wasn't strong at the time, but Ashley Free, she was free. She was ready to go. She was going to conquer every challenge. She was going to let go of every dead weight. And so it was kind of my new persona, but I had to shed that weight and remember that that past of mine did not define me. I am still victorious. I am still of value. And so it took me through a process of tracing back my history, replacing those traumas, and really releasing everything that has happened.
That's great. That is amazing. So we'll talk more about it. So we're going to take our second break and hear some more from our wonderful sponsors, and we'll be right back with Ashley Knight.
Publishing marketing package for authors. $1,500 value, save 40% now. Includes a 6-piece marketing kit of 250 bookmarks, 250 business cards, 250 postcards, 1 table banner, 1 table runner, and 50 download cards, plus book cover design, ebook creation, PDF setups, upload to Ingram Spark, scroll placement, video commercial, and interview on IBS. Plus much more. Email bourgeoismedia@look.com for details, or bourgeoismedia.com.
Hi, I'm Mel Greenberg, author of Running with Our Eyes Closed, book 1 in the Empty Nested series. To the world, Samantha has the perfect life. 3 wonderful children, a loving husband, so she thought, and a life split between Dallas and Italy. When her youngest leaves for college, it all comes crashing down, forcing Samantha to re-examine everything. Over 7 days in one of the most romantic countries in the world, Samantha faces the past she thought she'd overcome and begins to redefine her role as a woman, a wife, and a mother.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? Well, during COVID, almost all of us have been doing just that. I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author, actress, and speaker. And my book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, shows you how you can revive, thrive, and survive with 4 golden rules. You have to love one another. You have to respect one another. You have to have patience with one another. And most of all, you've got to forgive one another. I'm Charlotte Canyon, and I approve this message.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Denise Bryson on today's show.
Welcome back, everyone, to our radio show. We have been interviewing the amazing, positive Ashley Knight. And she is the author of 21 Days to Positive Speaking, 21 Days to Self-Adoration, and Ashley Free, Never Allow Your Past to Define You. And so we were discussing that book right before the break. And so let's continue with that, just telling us more about that, because so many people allow past trauma to define them, and they stay stuck in it, and so they're not able to move forward with life, even as an adult. And even if it's something that happened in childhood, and we're not discounting that, but at some point you want to move on in life, and you don't want just hold you hostage or keep you in bondage. So talk a little bit about that and how that book will help someone in that condition.
Definitely. It's a season now to break free from all past hurts, all past traumas, all past roadblocks that are really stopping you from activating your greatness. And so I take people through 365 days of you giving yourself life. So giving yourself positive feedback, as well as retracing the history that is bound, like that has you bound. And so I had to retrace some hard times. And this is not a book where I like to go back and reflect on. Like, this is stuff that I want to forget. But I had to capture that. I had to go back. The first part is talking about my history. It talks about my childhood. It talks about mistakes that, being raised under a single parent who allowed domestic violence to happen continuously in the presence of her children. For women, seeing that, and we always say that, that's stupid, like you could get away, but until you get into that situation, you don't realize why these women stay. And so seeing her go through that, and then me reliving that later on in my life, I understood. And so I had to retrace that. Me watching that so much growing up allowed me to accept it when I got into a relationship like that. And so I have to really speak on the truth about the different things that happened to me and what I was accepting, because at the same time, I got to take responsibility of what I accepted, and then releasing it for good.
That is that's an amazing story, because we really don't know the depth of what's going on when we see that, and we think, well, why don't they just get out? But that's easier said than done sometimes. And so sometimes you have to figure out how you're gonna get out of that, or you have to get assistance from somebody to help you. And it just depends on the nature of the abuse as well. So I mean, thanks so much for writing such awesome books that are really just books to help people and to help people overcome various circumstances and situations. These are so. Now, do you do coaching?
Yes, ma'am. So I am a positive life influencer now. And I do that to help people get unstuck. But I tell people, don't come to me if you are not ready to execute, because I'm known as the goal digger. I goal set, and I do not leave until I meet those goals. And then I execute on everything that I aspire to do. Now, even if you're saying, like, I want to make sure that I make up my bed every day. For some people, that's a hard challenge, because depending on how the day went, you can easily jump out of your bed and leave it a mess and come back to it later a mess. But if you say, I don't care what happens, I'm not leaving my room in the morning before I make up my bed, that is a good practice to start, to get yourself organized, to get yourself in a good foundation, because there's nothing more precious than coming back home to a made up bed. That means you can go back into that bed, releasing everything that happened for the day. And this is this clean, nice bed. And so I'd start with practices like that, as simple as that, and help people to really engage in their life with making practices that make sense.
Okay, thank you. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself and what's next for you.
Oh my goodness. Well, whatever God leads me into, I always tell him, Lord, whatever you're doing, just don't do it without me. And so right now, definitely, right now, I am the owner of Words Unite Bookstore. I am a 9-time best-selling author. So I have 9 published books, and I am 4 generations of authors. So my grandma wrote, I write, and my 2 daughters are published authors as well. So this is a family affair, and I feel like I'm building an empire that my children can lean on when they get older. But this is also influencing for everyone else attached to me. I have authors in my bookstore as young as 6 years old who have published. And so where these young people are saying, I want to be an author, you really can be an author right now. Now, at 6 years old, I was playing around. I was not writing a book. But because of this bookstore, I'm able to showcase authors that get overlooked and really highlight and show these youth that they can have a producing product that can help them for scholarships or when they go to college, they'll already have money building up now, because definitely if she keeps selling at 6 all the way till she's 18, she'll have a good savings account, so stuff like that. I feel like that's where I'm going. I'm going into legacy building practices for book selling in the book selling industry.
Oh, that is amazing. And then to just have people in there that's so young is such an amazing, it's so amazing. So let me, well, what else is now, how can people reach you on social media? Where are you on social media?
So y'all can contact me on Facebook or Instagram at Word Unite Bookstore. I'm listed on every platform and Google as Word Unite Bookstore. And they can contact me at info@wordunitebookstore.com. That is my email address, or www.wordunitebookstore.com is my website. But you can look up author Ashley Free anywhere, and that's where you can get my positive life influencing information on Facebook as well.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure and a joy just interviewing you today, and I'm so glad I got the opportunity to do that. We have been interviewing Ashley Knight, and of course she is the author of 21 Days of Positive Speaking, and then 21 Days of Adoration, of Self-Adoration, and then another book, and she has 9 books, so I just captured 3 in this interview. Ashley Free, Never Allow Your Past to Define You. So please look her up. She's got a lot of good stuff. She's a coach, life coach, so she helps with that. And then she has her bookstore, so go out there and purchase from her bookstore and see all the amazing authors that are on there. But please, 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 please support our authors, because they are amazing, and we want you to buy their books as well. I know you think about all the big time authors, but there's some good information that our other authors our other indie authors are giving, are having, they're sharing in their books. So please support them. Remember, everyone, to support, just continue to support, drop everything and read. Stop doing all that other stuff and read. Reading is fundamental. That's what they tell us. Anyway, good night, and thanks everyone for being a part of our show tonight. I have been your host, Denise Bryson.
Thank you for watching or listening to the Indie Beacon Show, produced by Beyond Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing International LLC. Copyright 2021. Voiceover by Beyond Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please email us at authorsmarketing@outlook.com. If you would like to be on the show, please complete the form found on our website at indiebeacon.com. You may also watch previous year's shows on the website. Music is Frolic of Words, created for Indie Beacon